Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today I'm going to be putting back together this Golden's Foundry 3-roller cane mill that we've been doing some work on. This was brought to me by a viewer down in Louisiana who had this grinder and wanted to get it up and going. It had some severe wear to the journals on the rollers. They were worn down so bad that we literally had to weld them back up and remachine these journals to get them back in shape. And that was all done in a previous video. And then most recently, we got all the Babbitt report for these. So all the Babbitt now fits everything just right. And it's really ready to reassemble. So there's a lot of parts to this, but it's really pretty simple to put together. I don't think this is going to take too long, but in case you've never done it or want to see how to put one of these together or take it apart, this will show you how to do it. Let's get in here and get at it. So you can see all the freshly turned journals here ready to go. Here's the fresh Babbitt ready to go, and all of these bearings fit really nice. I did want to just take a second and show you when you get a bearing put together, I mean, you ought to be able to put it on there and it turns really nice. Now, making these on mandrels, and even if I had to use the originals, sometimes when you pull these bearings off and they cool down, they shrink a little bit, and when you put them on, they can be a little bit tight. So you need to be prepared to scrape the Babbitt to get it to fit, and I actually had to do that on these two bearings for this shaft, and they fit on here real nice now and move around really good, but you can see I did some scraping in here. And basically scraping, you just use a bearing scraper. These are all bearing scrapers, different style bearing scrapers here. Have you ever seen these tools and not sure what they were used for? This is it. And the Babbitt material is just lead and tin, and it's fairly soft, and you can take this and easily just kind of work on the different areas and pull out tiny amounts of it until you get a nice fit. And once you get a nice fit, you're ready to go. So like I said, these 4 bearings came out just fine. These were a little bit tight. Had to do a little massaging to them, but they are ready to go back together now. So let's start reassembling. I will comment that I soaked most of these parts in Evap-O-Rust just to kind of help to get all the old rust and stuff off of here. I did get a little bit of flash rust on here, but no big deal. This thing's going to sit outside anyway. But that did a really good job of getting these cleaned up. I know it almost looks sandblasted, but I promise I didn't do that. We'll start by putting the bottom bearing in here for the main roller. This is for the big roller. It fits in this socket back here, just like such. And then we have these 2 bearings, and these are kind of cup style bearings. They fit in these pieces here. You got these adjustment screws to tighten them. And notice that the 3 bearings, the 3 rollers, you're going to put a piece of sugar cane in here, and when you do, it's going to press the rollers outward. So there's only Babbitt on one side of these, and that's real common on something like these cane mills. I even see this on like even railroad car journals. There's only a piece of bronze on the top. The bottom is just turning free because that's where all the weight is. There's no reason to have a bearing journal when all the weight is on one side. All the pressure's on one side of these. So they're one-sided Babbitts. No big deal if you've never seen those. With these in here, what we're going to do next is go ahead and drop our rollers in. I'm going to put the big one in first. There it goes. That will press against the back of that bearing back there in the back. Next, we take our first roller here that's going to crush the cane. Note that there are these 2 rollers. One of them is a little bit smaller in diameter than the other one. The cane's going to feed in from this side of the mill, and the smaller roller goes in first, and it will crush it to a point, and then the second roller is a little bit larger, and it will actually crush it a second time and make it a little bit tighter. So that's how that works there. We'll go ahead and drop this one in over here, and these will all have to be tightened up and adjusted to get them where they need to be. We'll do that once we get the rest of the mill put together, but I will go ahead and kind of pre-position these a little bit. The gear drops down on here like such. It fits perfectly on there. And then these two gears, they're exactly the same. Look at the casting number. This is A6, and these smaller gears are casting A7. And so I don't have to worry about which one goes to which. Because I took a quick break there because I got to second guessing myself on which side the cane went in on. And I'm glad I did. I went and pulled up a catalog that I have in digital format on my website at VintageMachinery.org. If you search for Goldens, there's I think it's a 1922 catalog, and it's got some information on this #1 mill. And you can see that the side that the cane goes in is on the right side of the spout down here on the side. It's on the right side of the spout, and I was thinking it went in the other direction, so I'm going to have to swap these two rollers around, and then we'll continue on with this project. I'll also comment that it's got a parts list in here with all the different parts, and even a price list where you could order those parts from back in 1922. Unfortunately, to my knowledge, none of these parts are still available. Golden's Foundry is still actually in business and operating in Columbus, Georgia, but they don't have any parts or support these cane mills anymore. Although I have heard that they were pouring some new cane kettles recently. I've heard that through the grapevine. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to assembling the mill. So we'll just pull that roller out and swap it with the small roller, which is the side the cane comes in on. And we'll put the other one on this side. So with that done, next thing we're going to do is start putting the side panels on. And the first one I'm going to put in is actually this piece that you feed the cane through. And it just fits right here. It this side kind of rubs against the big roller, this side kind of rolls against the smaller roller, and what that does is it guides the cane. When you put it in here, it guides it into that first roller. Now let's go ahead, we'll get the other side pieces here. See, this one fits on the back side. This one fits right here. Oops, nope, I got that backwards. All right, this one fits right here. This other one here fits on the other side, just like it. There's little tabs here that just kind of sit on that ledge. This one fits right there. And another one around over here. According to my parts diagram and the pictures in the catalog, there was a set of scrapers that fit on the back side over here. This one does not have the scrapers. They were not here when I got it. I don't have them. So I'm just going to assemble it without it. Really, it probably be ideal to have them because it scrapes the gunk off of these rollers. But at the same time, it's really not that critical. The cane's going to come out the hole in the back. Then the lid comes on. It goes over the top there. All your shafts kind of fit up through here. And the little clips in these side panels just kind of fit right in there. I have to jiggle it around a little bit to get them to fit just right, but I think we got it there. This is the bearing that goes on the top here. It fits right down into that hole. And these bearings drop in here. Again, we have set screws to adjust all these. And then there are 4 long bolts that go down through this and hold it all together. All right, and now I'm just going to tighten these down. That's good. I don't want to get them too tight. Just snug them up real good where they're not going to come loose. That should do it right there. And then this is also a scraper that goes in and scrapes the gunk off of these 2 wheels right here, and you got to get it. There it goes right in there. And what should happen is when the cane comes out, it just kind of presses against that and helps keep those rollers clean on these rollers. And with that, this is pretty well assembled. Now, the way this would have been used on the farm is there's a piece that fits on top of this little square piece. It's tapered, and you would attach a beam to it, a wooden beam, and a mule would just literally walk around circles off that beam. That would give him leverage to actually turn the mill so that you could grind your cane. Now, a lot of these have been mechanized. I think he has some way that he's got this one set up to drive. I don't have those parts here, but I'm pretty sure he does. But just to make sure everything's going to turn good, I'm going to put a big wrench on the top up here, and we'll just turn it. And you can see all the rollers are turning, and everything looks good. Now, he's going to have to adjust these bearings once he gets it. I may just kind of snug them up right now, but I'm sure he'll have to adjust them all once it starts grinding cane. The only adjustments are on the front rollers. The back ones are fixed, and you can just tighten things up by tightening and loosening these screws here. It's pretty straightforward. The only other thing I've got to do is, this is a modification from the original, but he's got a big pillow block bearing that fits on this, and I've got to make a sleeve adapter that fits over this. I'm not sure how all that is set up on his end, but it's just simply machining out a little piece here that fits over that pillow block will then fit on. It's basically an adapter to go from this diameter shaft to the diameter shaft that was in that one. When I got it, it had one on there. We had to remove that to take the mill apart, as well as to well, and then after we turn this down, it doesn't fit anymore, so I'm going to have to just make a new one. No big deal. I'll do that off camera. But this cane mill is pretty much all assembled and ready to go back together. Again, fairly simple parts, pieces here, not a whole lot to them. But if you've ever wondered how to take one of these things apart and put them back together, there you go. If you want to see how we refurbish the rollers in this one and report to Babbitt, you can go back and take a look at those older videos. And with that, that's going to be a wrap. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thumbs up and comments are appreciated. And guys, we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.